Two candidates, the same CMAP grades, same week, same firm. Anna walks out of her interview on Tuesday with a job offer in her hands, but Tom walks out on Thursday, convinced he nailed it, and still is waiting for the call. He'll never get that call, by the way. So what separates them isn't qualifications, it isn't experience, it isn't who studied harder. It's one quiet, unspoken thing that every single mortgage broker interview is testing for, and almost nobody actually walks in knowing it. Now, quick note before we go any further, just so you know, Anna and Tom, they're not real people. I've built them from years of watching new brokers walking into interviews and either nailing them or blowing them completely. But everything they do in this video, I've watched real people do over and over again. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what they're doing differently. And the next interview you walk into, you'll walk in hopefully like Anna does. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what firms are actually looking for in a trainee mortgage broker, what they're secretly testing while they smile at you and ask you about your CMAP grades, what to say, what to wear, what questions to ask, and how to handle the moment that decides almost every single interview. The single line that you need to keep in your head while you watch this is that firms aren't hiring for CMAP grades. They're hiring the person they're going to sit next to you for the next 2 years. The whole interview is one quiet question. Do I want to spend 2 years training this human being? That's all you need to think about. So let's do it. Now, quick context, there are broadly two types of mortgage broker interviews in the UK. You need to know which one you're going to be walking into before you decide how to prepare for them. So type 1 is the trainee advisor interview. This is where people who've passed CMAP or are partway through it and have no broker experience yet, the firm is hiring on potential. They're looking at your personality, your work ethic, your coachability, and quietly, whether they think you can sell. Type 2 then is the experienced advisor interview. Now, this is the broker who's already got competent advisor status and a case history somewhere else. The firm is hiring on numbers. They want conversion rates, they want average case sizes, protection attachments. They want to know whether or not you're going to bring clients with you. And most people watching this are probably going to be in the first camp if you're in this channel. So that's where Anna and Tom are sitting for this video. And that's where we're going to be spending the whole time talking about. So let's get to the bit that nobody warns you about. Because if you've understood this, you'll understood 90% of what wins an interview. Every single mortgage broker interview contains an unspoken sales test. It usually shows up disguised as a casual question. Something like, what's something you've had to convince someone to do recently? Well, how would you bring up the topic of life insurance with a brand new client? Or how would you handle a client who said your fee was too high? You see, Tom got asked that last question in his interview, and he said, I'd explain that we provide a lot of value and that brokers across the market charge similar fees, so the price is justified. It sounds reasonable. And that, by the way, is probably the moment, in my opinion, that he would have lost the job. Why? Well, because the answer told the principal 3 things. 1, Tom thinks sales is about defending a price. 2, Tom didn't ask why the client was hesitating. And 3, Tom didn't reframe the value, he just justified the cost. To a principal watching, that's a candidate who's going to lose half of his cases at the fee conversation. Anna got asked the same question. She said, I'd ask them what was making them hesitate. Sometimes the fee is a cover for a different concern. Then I'd address the actual concern and reframe what they're getting the money for, and then let them choose. I wouldn't push past the no, but I wouldn't drop it the first time they pushed back either. See, that answer told the principal 3 different things. 1, Anna understands sales is about listening. 2, Anna isn't going to crumble at the first objection. And 3, Anna understands the difference between selling and helping. That single answer was worth more than any line on her CV ever. Firms aren't hiring CMAP grades, they're hiring the person that they're going to sit next to you for 2 years, and that is the spine of every trainee interview. If you don't understand this, you'll lose the interviews you should be winning. So what are firms actually testing? Let me walk you through what Anna's interviewer was quietly watching for the whole time she was in the room. Same 5 things they watch for every single candidate. 1, can you talk to strangers? The principal opened with 5 minutes of casual chat about the weather, her drive over. Tom thought it was small talk and gave one-word answers because he wanted to get to the, quote, real questions, but Anna treated it like the start of the interview because it actually was. The whole job is conversations. If you're awkward, monotone, or struggle to hold a chat, the firm knows you're going to struggle on the phone. Number 2 is, are you coachable? When the principal said, tell me about CMAP, Tom listed every module and reeled off acronyms. Anna said something different. She said, I passed all 3 modules. Module 2 clicked the hardest for me because it felt more like the actual job. But honestly, I know that passing the exam is just the foundation. The real work is on the floor with a mentor, and I'm definitely ready for that. See, that one sentence again told the principal she was coachable. She's humble and aware of where she actually was in her career. 3 is, do you understand it's a sales job? So you've already covered this, the unspoken sales test, but you need to make sure that's clear. Number 4 you have is, will you stick at it? Mortgage brokering has a brutal 1-year dropout rate. Firms are sick of training people who quit when it gets hard. When asked why he wanted the career, Tom said, I want a career change. I'm bored of where I am. But Anna said, I want flexibility. I want to build something long-term, and brokering gives me both. But I know year 1, that's going to be really hard, and I'm prepared for that. See, same career change, 2 completely different signals about commitment. 5 then you have is, do they actually like you? Now, this is an unspoken one, and it matters way more than people realize. The principal is signing up to sit next to you, like I said, for years. And if they don't enjoy the conversation, the answer is going to be a no, a flat, hard no, regardless of what your CV says. Notice the pattern. Anna won the soft stuff, not the hard stuff. Tom thought the hard stuff, the qualifications, the technical knowledge, all of that was the test, but it wasn't. The actual qualification gets you the interview, but the person you are gets you the job. So then how do you talk about CMAP without sounding like a textbook? Well, this is where Tom went wrong, and it's where most candidates go wrong, in my opinion. He walked in and tried to prove he'd memorized everything. Do not do that, okay? The principal already knows what CMAP is. They've got it themselves. They sat it and did it. They don't need you to recite it back to them. They need to know what you took from it. If you've passed all 3 modules, keep it simple. I passed all 3 modules last month. Module 2 was the one I enjoyed most. That's when I started seeing how it all fits together and the real client conversation. See, if you're partway through, be honest about where you are and confident about your plan. I've passed module 1, module 2 is booked for next month, and module 3 will be the month after that if everything goes to plan. Then, and this is the line that wins the interview, drop some version of this. I know passing CMAP is just the foundation. The actual job is something I'll learn on the floor with a mentor, and I'm ready to do that properly. See, that one sentence, it shows humility, awareness, and coachability. 3 of the 5 things they're quietly testing for straight out the gate in one little line. So then what should you wear? This is the bit that nobody really wants to say out loud. See, Tom wore a suit, but it was rumpled and his shoes were scuffed a bit. Anna wore a suit, but her shoes were polished. See, that sounds really trivial, but it isn't. Mortgage brokering is a detail job. Wrong numbers on the application, missing documents, names misspelled. One small mistake is going to cost a case 3 weeks. And a principal watching you walk in is already running that test. Does this person notice details? Slightly overdressed beats slightly underdressed every single time. So do you need experience to get a broker interview? Well, no, you don't. Trainee roles exist precisely because firms expect to train people from scratch. What you need isn't broker experience. You need transferable skills of the qualities they are looking for. Anna's last job was retail management. So she talked about hitting protection targets in the equivalent language of, I trained my team to identify customer needs and recommended the right products. The principal heard she's done sales conversations before. Tom worked in IT. He talks about debugging code, and the principal heard nothing useful about him as a broker. You see, same length of experience, same level of intelligence, but completely different translation. You're not selling your past. You're translating your past into broker language. If you've ever hit a target, had a sales conversation, handled a complaint, kept clients happy, run your own anything business on the side, that's the material that's going to do well. Translate it into the language of broker work. Now, here's my honest take on this, and it's slightly a contrarian one. Most beginners apply to the firms they recognize, the big national names, the estate agency attached brokerages with the big famous logos, the household names. And I'd argue the opposite. For most beginners, the best first role is inside a small, well-run local brokerage where you can sit next to a principal every single day. Now, here is why. Let me explain. In a big firm, you become a number. I worked in a big firm. That's how I started. You get training that's been standardized down to the lowest common denominator, which again is fine. And you're one of 40 trainees being fed leads from an estate agency side and processed through a sausage factory. You'll learn fast, you absolutely will, but you'll learn very shallow. In a small firm though, with a strong principal, you're going to sit 2 meters away from someone who's been doing this for 14 years. You'll hear every single call. You'll see every recommendation. You'll get coached in real time. You'll learn the craft, not just the process. Yes, the lead flow might be, most likely, definitely will be slower at first. And yes, the brand isn't recognizable. But 2 years in, the broker who learned the craft properly is miles ahead of the ones who learn the process quickly. I'd take a great small firm over a mediocre big one every single time now. The principle is the product, you see. Pick the principle, not the logo. Now, here are some questions that you should ask the firm yourself, okay? Now, when the principal asks, do you have any questions for us? This isn't filler. This is the second half of the interview. Tom said for this one, no, I think you've covered absolutely everything. Now, that's not modesty, that's just disinterest. And the principal heard it that way. Anna had 5 questions ready. The best ones were these, okay? So what does your training and supervision look like in the first 6 months? You see, it shows you care about learning the craft. The other one is, what is the protection penetration rate in your firm? Now, this shows you understand protection is the income engine of brokering. The question alone will turn heads in an interview. The other one is, how long does it usually take a new trainee here to reach competent advisor status? This shows that you understand the path. Another one is, what's the average tenure of advisor here? It shows that you're thinking long term and gives you a quiet read on whether or not there's a churn machine built in the back of this business. Another one here is, what separates the brokers in your team who thrive and the ones who just don't thrive? See, this shows maturity and gets the principal talking about what they value, which tells you everything you need to know about whether you're going to fit. 2 or 3 of those, by the way, asked properly, can flip a flat interview into an offer easily. Anna, in this example, would have got the offer in the room. So let's talk about these red flags that are going to quietly kill candidates, okay? Things that Tom did that you must not be doing. First of all, he asked about the salary in the first 10 minutes. This tells the principal you're going to leave for 50 quid more. It's not good. Said something mildly critical about his last manager. It tells the principal you'll do the same about them. They went quiet when challenged on a weak answer. It tells the principal you'll crumble in front of a client. They had no question at the end. It tells the principal you don't really care about this. And said, I want to earn 6 figures in my first year. That's another one. That tells the principal you really just don't understand the job. You see, none of those are deal breakers individually, not at all. But stack 2 or 3 of those on top of them, job offer is going to go before you've left the building. So how do you choose between offers? So in this example, Anna's going to end up with 2. A big national firm, decent basic salary, decent commission split, small local firm, slightly less money, principal she clicked with on every level. Which one wins? Well, here's the framework you need to do. Look at the training and supervision first, not the money. Okay, a great firm with proper training will pay you for the next 10 years. A bad firm with high commission will burn you out in 12 months. So look at the lead flow as another one. Will you have to generate every client yourself, or does the firm provide inquiries? For a brand new trainee, by the way, lead flow matters enormously. You can't learn the job if you have no one to advise. Look at the principal as well. Do you actually want to spend the next 2 years plus sitting next to this person and learning from them? If the answer is no, then the firm is a wrong fit regardless of the money they offer. Now look at the structure of the deal as well. Employed with basic plus commissions gives stability while you learn. Self-employed under the firm gives you more upside but higher risk in year 1. For most beginners, employed first, self-employed later. Don't try and run before you can walk. Look at the protection support as well. Does the firm have proper training around protection conversations? This is the bit that determines your income within the next 12 months. For sure. Anna took the small firm. Less money on paper, but way better training, better principal, better protection support. Now, within 18 months, she was out earning the colleagues who took the bigger firm. By 3 years, it wouldn't even be close. The honest line that nobody tells you. So here is a thing that nobody will say to your face. The mortgage broker interview is not really about how much you want the job. It's about how much the principal wants to spend 2 years sat next to you. I've said it so many times. You are interviewing for a 2-year coaching relationship. The qualification gets you in the room, but the conversation in the room decides absolutely everything else. So show up smart, talk about CMAP like an adult, not a student, demonstrate that you understand that sales is about listening, ask sharp questions, don't moan about your last job, don't ask about the money in the first 10 minutes, don't go quiet when challenged. Do all of that and you'll walk out like Anna, not like Tom. The interview is the door. Year 1 is the room. And the year 1 is where most brokers quit quietly. Almost always because of the same handful of mistakes they didn't see coming. So in this video on screen right now, I'm going to talk about what you can expect in your first year as a mortgage broker. give it a click.